actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Live from Sunset Gower Studios, The Amazing Hour with Joanne O'Brien and Sabrina Johnson.
There's a power here within me. There's a strength that's deep inside. If I'm willing to be willing, the field is open wide. And I know I have the courage, so I push my fears aside and allow these words of truth be heard from every mountain high. I am amazing, I am amazing. There's nothing I can't do. I am amazing, I am amazing. And you're amazing too. We share a vision, we share a dream. Are you ready? Slow and steady, we are making history, 'cause we are amazing.
Wow. Welcome, everyone, to our fourth episode of The Amazing Hour, where we celebrate everyday superstars. So we are live in Hollywood on the UBN Radio Network at the famous Sunset Gower Studios, and we have an incredible show lined up for you today. But before we introduce our guest, Sabrina, what do?
We have the amazing challenge, and stay tuned because we might just challenge it up a bit. But we have been asking, the Eleanor Roosevelt quote suggests that you do something that scares you every day. So we ask each other, what did we do this week that scared us? And I never even thought about it until a second ago, and I realized that yesterday I did something that was a little bit scary. I'm not too much into what do you call it? Self-help. I like self-help, but I call it more spiritual guidance. I'm more like, I don't know, a friend of mine years ago said, you don't do those self-help books. You just love the classics, and that's me. So I have other classics. So I went to a self-help workshop, and where was that workshop?
That workshop was in my living room. Yes, it
in
was.
your living room. And that's not why it was scary. It was scary because it was
Because I'm a hoarder. No, I'm not kidding.
Because you have 40 cats. No, not at all.
We're painting a picture, and it's not a good one.
It was a beautiful home in Hollywood Hills, and there were 12 other women. And you know what was scary was that Joanne she and her sister set this wonderful comfort zone for 12 women to really share quite intimately. And we shared about one thing that women really obsessed about. And it left me feeling sad. I'm still feeling sad, but it was scary to talk about, and we did. And that's our body image. And, it's like what Hillary Clinton says, a politician can be really fat and gross and everything, but that's fine. But one toe tip on a female politician, and oh my God, she's gone to pot. And there were some gorgeous, beautiful women there, and it was kind of sad because they didn't feel so.
Oh, well, it was really a workshop about shame and daring greatly and having courage, which super fits what we're doing right here and talking about that. So it was a workshop on the work of Brene Brown. So,
or as I call her, Bryn Mawr.
Yes, you called her Bryn Mawr, which is a town in Pennsylvania that I used to live in. But we still love you anyway,
yes.
Whether you say Brene Brown or Brene.
We
Brene. You didn't say Brene Brith, so
yes.
that's good. So all right.
What did you do?
What I did that scared me was that I had the courage to admit in a room of about a different group of women yesterday, lots of women yesterday, that there was a volunteer group that I was a part of that's a real do-gooders group with a really incredible intention that I just didn't want to do it anymore, and I just didn't feel like it. And so I was quitting. And it was hard to do that because I felt like there was going to be a lot of judgment on me. And maybe there was, I don't really know. But I just knew that this was not for me. And it was kind of sucking a certain energy. And some things are meant for some people and some are meant for others. And this wasn't meant for me. And so I just said, hey, you know what? I just don't want to do this anymore. And I'm alive and sitting here today, and my hair didn't fall out, and I didn't get more wrinkles, and
you made another choice.
I made another choice. So
And you did so bravely.
yes, we did. We dared greatly, and we had a lot of courage.
Yes.
So
That was great.
so
Talking about daring bravely, we are going to be introducing a guest. And daring bravely is really what he does with this flourish of abundance. Joanne and I have been like totally amazed since we knew we were going to be on this UBN radio station. And I thought, we'd better listen to some shows. So I listened to the show called On Air with Tony Sweet and Eddie Connor. And I heard this southern drawl that just takes you in. And then he started talking about abundance consciousness just in the language that I really understood. And I said to Joanne, we have to get Eddie Connor. And she said, excuse me, but she said, who? And I said, Eddie Connor. And so she said, oh. And then a few weeks later, we were formulating this, and a friend who did not know I was working on radio said to me, I went to this great workshop. I cannot tell you how great it was. This guy, Eddie Connor, he has this workshop on money, and it's so great. I want to show you a picture. He puts a monkey on your back, the monkey that we carry on our back, and she's showing me the picture, and I go, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this is the guy that we want for the show. And then a few weeks later, we decide we're going to have him as a guest, and we're emailing him, and then a very good friend of mine, Amy Lloyd, we're having lunch at the Daily Grill, and she goes, I'm talking about guests. I said, and this is a guest, and we both said Eddie Connor. I said, how do you know Eddie? She goes, I've known Eddie for years. She's sitting behind our producer. She was like a surprise for Eddie, even though Eddie is a soul intuitive. He probably solely intuitively knew she would be here. But Eddie is not only a radio host with Tony, he also is a soul intuitive. He is an author. He's a speaker. He is, and I loved when we were talking with him yesterday about what he does. He's kind of like a soul reflector. It's very spirit infused. It's not just psychic. It is really working together with that great infinite abundance of the spirit and really making our life more abundant. So here is Eddie Connor.
yay!
Yay! Thank you. I know.
Don't you love our fake studio audience? I do. They're all the
We have a
spirits
real
in the
one.
room. And now we have a real one.
one.
Oh, she's throwing her voice.
It's
Yay.
beautiful, gorgeous.
Eddie! The funnest thing I think is that we've never met you until tonight. And
Right.
our first three guests on the show, we had met, so we were very familiar with. But don't you feel like we've known Eddie
Yes.
I feel like I've known you.
Yay.
Yay.
I like that.
Yeah. So welcome. We're
Thank you.
delighted to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
you.
I love the energy.
Yeah,
you.
well, we have a really good time.
Thank you.
So we have so many things that we want to cover. And listen, people, I just want to let you know that there will be some live readings on the air. Okay, so get your questions ready.
I make a suggestion. Only things you feel comfortable on air because this guy's on target.
Yes.
So, you really
yes.
don't ask things that are private. They're going to be broadcast to the universe.
Yeah. So I'm just so that you're not freaking out. Write this number down: 323-843-2826. Write that down because when it comes time to call in, we're only going to be able to take a certain amount of callers. So we want to get you guys ready. So think about that, and we will get back to you. So one thing I'd love for you to first explain is the difference. We talked yesterday about being a psychic and a medium, so that people really understand what it is you do and what it is you actually don't do. Because I think some people think it's all the same.
People do think it's all the same, and it's a great question. A medium is someone who just sees and hears and communicates with the dead, and that's their primary focus. That's their gift. And a psychic is someone who tunes into your energy and usually specializes in a certain form. There are some financial psychics. There's some love psychics. There's even in England a butt psychic.
A butt psychic?
Yeah, a butt psychic.
Butt psychic.
You go, he's blind, so you go in.
Oh, sure.
no.
He just wants to feel people up.
True story. Yeah.
Pretending he's blind.
And then he charges you. So, turn around. He says, drop your jaws. And what's your question?
Oh my God, we need to have him on the show.
Yeah. So there are butt psychics. But psychics usually tune into your immediate energy field, what's going on around you, your loved ones, that sort of thing. By loved ones, I mean the ones that are living and breathing and that you can't stand. And we talk about love, money, and career. And the joke with people that I read for, they're like, you're just a little bitty old living room size medium, but you're a big old stadium size psychic, because that's my thing. Yeah. So once in a while, a dead person will jump in and I can't understand what they're saying and I have to piece it together and then try to make people laugh, because then if they laugh and their energy goes up, then I can get a little bit more of what the dead person's trying to say.
So when you were, when I heard you speak on your show, I loved if you would just start like how your history brought you to this place of where you are today, really sharing your gift of being this soul intuitive. And I loved when you spoke to us yesterday, you said the gift of really going inside and waking people up so that they can really be in alignment with who they are. I love that.
Thank you. It sounds like I'm sophisticated, don't it?
Yeah, don't it? Yeah.
It does.
Sure is.
I am I'm a third generation psychic on my mom's side. So it's my grandma and my mom and myself, and a second generation psychic on my dad's side. And she used to put spells on people, I found out just before she passed away. She thought she was psychic. She could put spells on people. I don't believe in that stuff. Do you? And I went, no, ma'am, not at all. And I was sort of, as a kid, I was super psychic, meaning I would immediately fill you up. I like you, but not that much. I'm sorry.
My goodness, best offer I've had all day. Continue.
Oh my goodness. I would immediately feel what energies were going on around my parents and my grandparents and the teachers and the students and that sort of thing. I didn't know what it was. And I would see dead people a lot, and I would see angels come through the wall, and especially after some traumatic, scary thing had happened or before some traumatic, scary thing would happen. And they would talk to me and hang out with me. And I had a sister in the spirit world that hung out with me all the way up until the night my mom gave birth to my baby brother.
Really? Wow. And that was a sister.
And so do you think that your sister's soul was birthed into your brother?
Wow.
It sounds real woo-woo, but I never heard or saw her again after he was born.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And are you close to that brother?
I do. I love Diddlebug.
Yeah. Is he here?
Yeah, he's in North Carolina.
Okay, a little bug.
When did you first recognize that they were your spirit guides? Like, who was your spirit guide? Who were your angels?
That's a great question. I recognized it consciously whenever I was about 25. And I just thought there were these random beings that were popping in. I was praying a lot for help and support to get my mom out of a really bad marriage. What can I do to be of service to my mom? How can I make my mom feel better? Everything was about my mom. And then they would just come. I didn't put one and one together in my head that I asked for them to come, therefore they came. I was asking for something up there to help, and this is the way it manifested for me. And then whenever I was 16, 17 years old, I told someone at the skating ring, I said, you need to be really careful because you're going to have a car wreck. So don't be playing around, and don't be playing around with people in your car. So he called me some really lovely names and spun out of the skating ring and got hit by a car. So after that, I was like, no more.
Well, did he live?
Yes.
Okay.
He totally lived. He was totally fine, but his Corvette was trashed.
Well, did he come to you and apologize? Oh.
No.
So did you put a curse on him?
No.
Okay. Darn.
So Eddie, how do you feel about that? Because that is that really for especially for a child still 16.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you feel when you had these visitations? I mean, was it just like, okay, oh, of course you're here, or was it scary, or how did you feel?
It was never scary. I only had 2 scary incidences. I just thought everybody did that. but I also knew not to talk about it.
Okay.
And I have another brother out of us 4 boys, Terry. He has some of the same experiences, and we saw many of the exact same things that I didn't know about till this year. And because we were not a touchy-feely, communicating kind of bunch back in Glenola, North Carolina. And so it just was what it was. It was what it was. But it made me feel more isolated than I already felt, because I was gay, didn't tell anybody, psychic, didn't tell anybody, saw dead people, didn't tell anybody. Here comes an angel through the plywood wall of our mobile home, not going to tell anybody, get psychic readings on people, and I started to wonder if I was a little nuts. And around that time, I started reading Stephen King's The Shining. That didn't help.
Okay,
any.
did not help.
Yeah.
So, but when you had these visitations, then, yes, it did make you. You said feel isolated, but did it give you any comfort at all? Because these were things you seemed comfortable with in your own world.
It gave me comfort when no one was around.
Okay.
So, like, especially my room.
Okay.
Or whenever I would be snapping peas outside, or working in the garden, or cleaning out the creek or whatever. So whenever I was alone and they would come to me, I was completely fine. But when they would come around me, when there were people around me, that made me uncomfortable.
So this is sort of a twofold question. So when did you begin to really streamline and understand this is something that I can access constructively regularly?
When I was 25.
When you were 25, okay. And then since then, have there been any times where the gift was not available to you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. Because I always get curious, if you've been through some kind of trauma, but the answer is no. So,
Yeah.
okay.
It's always been there.
Always
and
great.
what happened at 25 that you just knew this was your gift to share?
I think I got fired from a job. My entire identity was placed on the 2.5 jobs I worked, and what a good worker I was. And I was like my mom that way. And so I would always show up early. I'd always leave late. I was the perfect employee. And I was fired for being gay.
Oh.
And I was literally devastated, because I'm like, who am I now?
Right.
And then it just like, and I picked up a book. I know what it was. It was Dancing in the Light by Shirley MacLaine.
Okay.
So it was the getting fired and a horrible breakup at the same time. The power going out in our town. And so I couldn't go to my other 2 jobs anyway. So I had to sit still in the dark by candlelight. And I was reading Dancing in the Light, which I thought was about dancing, because I was a dancer for years. And it was about metaphysics, spirituality, harnessing your power, harnessing your gift, and using it to uplift and heal other people. And that was the big life changer for me.
So you kind of like that was kind of like your anointing. It sounded like that moment. So when you took this gift and you knew that this was your gift to share, how did you come from cleaning out a creek in North Carolina to Hollywood and reading for the stars and do what you do? How did that happen?
Wow, that sounds so impressive.
I know, it really does.
You know what? I'm just a Southern Gothic fan. I love
still
Dorothy
cleaning out
Allison. I
cricks.
love Carson McCullers.
Yeah,
I just,
yes.
Dorothy Allison. I love it. She says when you have a double wide in the South, you're in the state holder.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
Especially
I
if you got
love-
an acre of land with a creek on it. Okay. That's what my mama's still there, child. It just, I put in the hours, I put in the time. I started doing readings for anybody who would let me do readings for them, but I was also a closet psychic. And in 1988, 89, my best friend in the whole world was diagnosed with AIDS.
I read that.
And it was devastating. I'd never been close to anybody. My family didn't know I was psychic. No one knew I was psychic but Tim. And when Tim was the kindest person you will ever meet on the planet. And I called him Tammy. And he called me some names I won't say on the air. So Tammy and we were inseparable. If people saw me out and about working and not Tim, they would say, "There's Tim and Eddie," and vice versa. I mean, we were that inseparable. And he was such a good guy, and he constantly asked me, why did this happen to me? Because we knew a lot of people that were not very nice, and in his mind, because he was a good person and he was nice and he got AIDS, he didn't understand it. And he grew up in the church. Every night the doors were open, he was there. So he couldn't understand why God would do that. So it put me on this trajectory to find out how we create our reality, what our souls choose, why we come to this planet, why someone like him may create that deliberately from a soul platform and then bring that into humanity, or if it was a default thing. And so it put me on it, and I've never been off of it since.
And were you able, I'm just curious with Tammy, were you able to share something that was of comfort to him? Because you were
Yes.
part of this program for him.
Yes, and the answer is yes. And it's so funny because Tim was so, at the time, in it, immersed in it, and at the bottom of the well a lot of the time, he couldn't hear a lot of it. And it was never like, well, you create your own reality, good luck with that, bye. It was never like that. It was, these are the things we do, and these are the things I read about the soul. Here's what I've remembered from whenever I was a kid. Here's what the guides are telling me now. Here's what your guides are saying. So we always had that little psychic love fest, for lack of a better way to say it. And it's one of those weird things I'll never forget as long as I live. We were having a conversation, and I was getting ready to leave and go to work because I was a workaholic. And Tim reached over and he said something, and he just put his hand on my arm right here. And the minute he did, every sad, depressed, why me, not in a victim way, come pouring through me like a tsunami. And we just both held each other and cried, because that's when I first realized just an ounce of what he must actually be going through. It was devastating. And then that made me work harder and smarter and get my act together to help him help himself. And the whole thing was, he said, I don't care how this takes me, I just want you to be there and walk me over when it happens.
Can you talk about that? I
yes,
want to know,
yes.
because I read about that and that moment of when you were really on the other side with him
Yeah,
and then came back into the room.
yeah.
That's pretty unbelievable.
It sounds unbelievable, and what's funny about it is I do it all the time. Whenever I'm sitting and doing a reading for somebody, what I'm really doing is just checking out and talking to whoever's over there, and then saying, oh, by the way, da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. And so it sounds otherworldly, and for me at the time, it was a bigger deal than it is now.
Sure.
Because I was shocked. And so the whole family's there. The whole family's got to say their I love yous, hugs and kisses, goodbye. And I'm just being polite because I'm a Southern boy. And everybody's crying, of course. And he's at Duke University. And his sister Carol said, Eddie, and he had just stopped breathing, or just right there at it. So I walked up and took his hand and just closed my eyes, and I was rubbing his arm. And then he was still breathing. And then he let go. And when he let go, I mean, it was like night and day. And you could just feel the energy shoot up out of the room. You could feel like, oh my God, this is so cool kind of feeling, but it was subtler than that. I mean, he was out of his body. And then it was like him just going into, he was just in a blissful, relaxed place. The most, I'd never known him that way in human form for 11 years. And then I was like with him, and I was like, oh my God, this is so like cool. And honestly and truly, it's like the movie Ghost, when Sam Wheat goes to the other side and you see the hologram figures of white light. And then as he gets a little deeper into it, you can see them start to make figures. I saw my grandma over there, saw a bunch of people that I didn't know that were connected to Tim. And he just sort of turned around and said, okay, girl, I'm okay. And I was like, bitch, please, I got all the way over here. And just sort of snapped back into the room, and his hand was cold as ice. Yeah. So it was interesting. And that just kept me on my path.
So how'd you get to Hollywood? How'd you get here?
He died in 1993, and I was a closet psychic, and that was January 1993. And within 4 weeks, I was asked to come to the biggest radio station in that part of North Carolina, G105, with Bob and Mike and Madison. And so I went in to work with this woman named Sharon Capehart, world famous psychic Sharon Capehart from Texas. And she wanted to transfer the spirit of Jimmy Hoffa into somebody. And I was like, and then she changed it to Nostradamus. And I love me some Nostradamus.
Yeah.
And so I went out with all of the other people that sort of auditioned to do that the next morning live on the air at 6:00 a.m. And out of all the people, she picked me. I'd come back down the next day, and so we transferred the Spirit of Nostradamus on the air for a morning show in Bible Belt, North Carolina.
Oh my God.
It was
I love it.
hellfire brimstone for days.
Yeah.
And then that led to me meeting a couple of people there that came out here. And then I came out here in September of 1995 to be on the air on 98.7. I met Ryan Seacrest that day. And I knew he was going to blow up. I knew he was because I was asked by management. And I was like, you better keep your eye on him. Boom. And Tim and I always loved Paula Abdul. I got to meet Paula Abdul in September 95. I was like, I love this. And long story short, he gave us a radio show. He said, come out here, we'll give you a radio show. We literally beat Love Lines for the time we were here for 10 days. And I drove across the country. I got home the third week of September 95, drove out here the third week of December, and set up shop. And he was fired as we drove across the country. So we did not have a show on Star 98.7. But I knew I was supposed to be here. Tim used to beg me to move to Los Angeles, and I said, you would not catch me dead there.
Wow.
So I've been here 18 years, and I'm not dead.
Yay. Well, I'm here 17 years. So
Oh my
you got here a
God.
year before me.
Wow.
Wow, is it right?
I love
I was
this.
born down the street at Hollywood Press.
We have so many questions, but we want to. Let's see. Okay, so it's we have a caller already.
Well, we do.
We do. Okay.
Waiting whenever you want it to change.
Well, I know, but people are calling in, and it's not fair because we're not ready for callers. Because why? It's 7:25, and at
Yes.
7:25 we have our first giveaway.
Yes, our
Ooh,
first
yay.
giveaway. So, Eddie, Eddie has 2 generous giveaways.
2 generous
Yes.
giveaways.
And he has 2 questions for each giveaway.
Okay, so
this one we should promote. Our
Okay,
little
okay.
thing.
So this is really fun. All right.
Yeah.
So the first giveaway is kicking the big butt syndrome. Okay. So what's really fun? We're so excited about kicking the big butt syndrome. So this is figuratively, but if you tune in next week, literally our giveaway is Nerium Firm, which will literally firm your big butt. Okay.
So you'll be ready for that butt psychic reading.
So I know this is so much fun. So you all have to tune in next week because this is valued at $100 and it is summertime and y'all are going to want this. I will not show you my before and after photos, but trust me, I'm down a size. Okay. So kicking the big butt syndrome is our first giveaway, and so get ready, callers. Here, I'm going to give you the phone number once again for the lamos who didn't do it. 323-843-2826. So, what's your first question that they have to call in with the right answer?
The first question is, which attracts money to you faster, laughing your face off or working your ass off?
Ooh, I don't know the answer to
I'm
this
gonna
question. This is so
I'm going to be busy
good.
laughing.
Well, while we're waiting for our first caller to call in with the answer to that question, do you want to do our we're going to ask Eddie.
Yes, we have a question for Eddie that we ask our guests, that if every time you walked into a room, a theme song played, what would it be?
Gosh, I had to think about this a lot. I Am What
This
I
is
Am
supposed to
by
be
Gloria
impromptu.
Gaynor.
We never
Oh,
asked you
You're
before.
not supposed
this.
to tell people
We're
that
not-
we told you
yeah,
I was
before we were
psychically
doing
picking
it.
that up.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. That was a wink for those that
Yes.
are listening. Okay. So Gloria Gaynor.
Yeah, Gloria Gaynor's I Am What I Am.
I am what I
Oh,
am.
I
Yeah,
love
it's such
that.
a great song.
Oh, I love that.
All right. Okay, good. We have our first caller. Okay, caller, you're on the air. Who's calling?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, it's Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
Is it Peggy Sweeney McDonald?
Yeah. Another Southerner.
Another
How about
Southerner.
Eddie?
Oh, she loves you. Do you know Peggy?
Oh,
She wrote
right.
Meanwhile Back at Cafe Du Monde.
Oh, no, right. Oh, girl.
The Southerners rule.
The Southern, which I've written you a theme song for your book, but anyway, that's a whole other story. Okay, I have. It's really good. It's really fun. It's like a drinking song.
I'm waiting for the big
but
butt,
with cappuccinos.
big butt song. Okay.
So yeah, we'll do a big. Oh, there is a big butt song.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you want me to
Okay,
answer
Peggy.
the question, or do y'all want me to?
No. We want you to, because we're not ready for asking questions yet, but we might be. So
We might
actually,
be.
maybe
Yeah,
we will.
yeah.
Peggy, you're,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
So, do you know the answer to that question, though, Peggy?
Yeah, laughing your ass off.
Is that right?
That is
Are you
right.
sure? Oh,
100% right. Yay!
Okay.
You win
Yeah.
the big
You
butt
need to be
syndrome. Okay,
Can't
so
wait.
so since you are on the air, you will be our first. Are you okay to do
Let's
a mini
do it.
reading? Okay,
Let's do
so
it.
we need your birth name,
Yep.
right? Your birth name and your birth date. You don't have to give the year if you don't want to.
Right. And Peggy, you
Oh,
don't even...
that's okay.
Yeah.
Peggy Sweeney,
Okay.
Sweenney, and birthday is 7/21/58.
It's coming
good.
up.
And what's one specific question or focus that you want an answer to, Peggy?
Well, I'm getting ready to sign a deal memo for a production
Wow.
company to shop Meanwhile back at Cafe Du Monde as a TV show. So I'm calling to find out if it's going to land, what's going to happen with the show. It's been a live show. It's been a book. Is it going to be a TV show?
Are you asking if it'll be a live show and or a TV show or both?
No, it's up.
What?
Oh,
Where is she? Are you there, Peggy?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. We lost you for a second.
So it is a live show. It is a book. And now I'm calling to find out if it's going to be a television show because I'm getting ready to shop it around.
it is going to be a television show. It's
Yeah.
going to have two contracts that are associated with it. There's a man with a T and an N sound like a Tony, an Anthony. T's and N's, as in Tony, can sound confusing to me. So it could be a T-M, as in Tim, or Tom, or Tommy, or Tone, or Tony, that sort of thing. T-N, male associated with it. There will be a female with an F-R-C-S associated with it, with the strongest sounds being the F and the C-S. Does any of that make sense right now?
Not right now.
That's okay.
No.
It's all good because they're coming in. You need to really look over your first contract whenever it gets to you, and don't be afraid to tweak it just a little bit, Peggy, because you don't want them. I'll tell you what, without saying the name of the production company, do you already know the name of the production company or the people that you're shopping it to sign a contract
Yes, and I have already tweaked it.
Okay.
So I now have the final with the production company, and they're going to take it to the network.
So what you want to be careful of, and this is whenever I don't like my job, you want to be careful that you have a clause in the contract that if they don't sell it right away, that they do not put it on the shelf for 2 years and not touch it. And then 2 years after that, you find out somebody else has something similar on there. So make sure that you have a clause in there that if they don't want to do anything with it, they release you from the contract so you can start shopping it somewhere else. But honestly, you're going to get two really strong bites on it. There's a new male sound coming in around like Larry, Lars, or LR, or double R sound that's going to come in. So the male with the L and the R's, there's going to be another male with the T-N sound, first or last name, and a woman. I'm hearing Francis, literally. So it'll be F sound, R sound, SC sound, first or last for these three people. But it does look like it's going to go on. It will not hit the air as fast as you would like it to, but it will go to television, just so you know.
Wow.
Yay! That's exciting.
And Eddie, you gave her such. I work for an entertainment attorney. You could be an entertainment attorney. That
Really?
Was so great.
Hey,
Yeah.
Peggy. All right. Well, Peggy, we're going to see you, and we're going to bring you your Kicking the Big Butt Syndrome. Congratulations, and we can't wait to hear how this turns out. So,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Peggy.
you, Eddie. Thank you, Joanne
You're
and Sabrina. I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Okay, Peggy.
wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. So, let's do our next giveaway. You want to?
Yeah.
Okay, so get ready, whoever's ready to call.
This is a really great giveaway.
Okay, so the next
Another great giveaway.
This next giveaway is called Living the High Frequency Life with Eddie Connor, and it's 10 essential keys for a rich and happy life. Okay, so we're going to send this to whoever calls in and has the right answer to this question.
The question is, there are two frequencies on the planet. One is a high frequency and one is a low frequency. Out of those two frequencies, which one is the most abundant and opulent and prosperous for you, the high frequency or the low frequency?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's a good
Wow,
question.
Very good. I love this.
Hmm.
And Eddie really has this. While we're waiting, I would love to talk about abundance consciousness, because I got that snippet from just the archive show online for the on air, and I loved how you talked about someone having $1 million and how the abundance consciousness will either keep it or not. And if you could just explain that, so you put that so precisely.
Oh, you're so sweet. The abundance consciousness has nothing to do with money. Prosperity consciousness has nothing to do with the physical money that we put in our billfold or our purses. And an abundant consciousness is anything that makes you feel from the inside out for longer than a few seconds at a time, what I call high frequency, which means opulent, rich, soul esteem, wealth esteem, and sort of a soul confidence, for lack of a better way to say it. The soul part of us is 100% pure positive energy, as Abraham Hicks would say, and we are all summoning the energy that creates worlds, and we have the ability to pull it to us and through us if we consciously, deliberately choose to lock onto anything that makes us feel good for the joy of feeling good. And when you feel good, you're in that rich, esteemable place. When you're not feeling good, you're just accidentally stepping outside of it. It is always available to you, however, unless you choose to by default or deliberately step outside of it.
So let's say somebody gives me $1 million and my frequency isn't quite at that $1 million frequency. What will happen with that $1 million most likely?
The same thing, not for you. I'm going to answer this psychically. I know it's metaphoric, but for you, what would happen if you weren't you, if you were most normal people, because y'all ain't normal, let's face it. If you were normal people, you would be just like a lottery winner that would win $1 million, 10 million, 20 million. Within 2 years, it's gone, and you're deeper in debt than you've ever been in your life because they don't have the consciousness and the feeling frequency to hold the money. They think of it as a thing instead of a frequency.
Right.
They hold on to it like there's just a certain amount of it, and then it's going to go away.
Right.
And for you, you would keep doing the work that you would need to do and want to do to make sure that you kept it.
Right.
And then make it grow.
Yeah. Yes. And I call it like the consciousness of really what the divine attribute is, the divine attribute of a divine abundance. So you have that divine abundance. So I call it, like, for instance, for me, an issue would be weight loss. So it's not just weight loss. It's really that divine attribute of wholeness. So the wholeness consciousness is that weight comes and goes, but it's the wholeness. And so I love this, the whole idea. You can do this with anything, relationships with, love. And I love that. That's
we have our caller. Someone has called in. Okay, who do we have on the air?
Hi, JoJo. It's Marielle.
It's
Marielle. Oh, I know you, Marielle. I met you in person. And Marielle is just as lovely as her voice. If not more
Yay.
so.
And she's a voiceover artist.
Oh, is
so,
she really?
yes,
And
she
she
is
just is so
indeed, and a
sweet.
successful one. So wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, do you know the answer to the question?
I think it's low frequency.
Oh, it's high frequency.
Oh, that was my first impact, and then I Googled it, and it said low.
Oh, you are so funny. You Googled it. Well, you know what? Because we know that
That's
your
okay.
you are going to get living the high frequency life, so you learn to trust your intuition and screw Google.
That would be Scroogle.
Scroogle. Damn
Very
it.
funny.
Gosh, we
Yay.
just became new Silicon Valley entrepreneurs.
I know,
Scroogle.
Scroogle. Well, exactly. All right, so Marielle, do you are you up for having a mini reading on the air?
Absolutely. I do have a
yay.
question.
Okay, so first we need your birth name and your date, and then we'll let Eddie take it from there.
Awesome.
Okay, my legal name is, birth name is Mary Ellen, 2 words. Last name is Monte, Monte.
Okay. And then your birthday. You don't have to say the year if you don't want to, Marielle.
Well, I just can't say the year. It's March 18th.
March 18th. I thought you were going to say April. I wrote a 4. March 18th. That's okay. What's your question?
My question is, I'd love some guidance on where my career will be going or where the financial gains would be coming from. Where should I keep my focus?
That's such a good question. You know, you have a tendency to work harder than you need to. you have a little bit of a tendency. You're better about not worrying as much as you used to. So you still have little tendencies of that, and that's pretty common actually. So it doesn't sound very psychic, but you are coming up out of the worry. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
You are also pretty much always doing something to stay ahead of whatever your old programming used to be. So whether it's self-help, whether it's constantly putting yourself in uncomfortable positions that to make you grow and expand, you do it. You are not scared, child. I say people like us, we put on our I can't say shit, can I?
Yeah.
You just did.
Oh, sorry. We put-
Shit kickers, right?
Yeah. So you're not scared to put on your shit boots and your Xena breastplates and go out there and conquer the universe. So you've got money coming to you around September. Do you have a little bit of a pattern of when it rains, it pours?
Oh, it always seems that way, yeah.
Okay. So you're going to get money in September. You're going to get not just money in September. You're getting bigger money by September, October 2014. You're going to get, again, money around April-ish of 2015. There's new contracts that are Are you thinking about changing your representation or bringing a new person on to support you or to manage you or to promote you?
Yes, I'm definitely doing that because I'm not in Los Angeles now, so I represent myself.
Okay.
So I'm definitely thinking of getting back.
You're going to do that around the fall. And so between late summer and early fall, you're going to get a person to do that. Quite frankly, there's going to be 2 people that are going to be knocking at your door. You're so funny. And you're also going to do something different than what you've been doing that you may have said that you're not going to do again. So, for example, if you do just voiceover, if you do just things like that behind the camera, you may have said, I'm never going to step in front of the camera again as God is my witness. But you are going to change that belief system. You're going to shake it up a little bit. I love you, girl, because you don't do stuff just for money. It has to speak to you, and it has to speak to your heart. And do you have 2 kids, or are there 2 kids around you?
Yes, my husband is one of them. I have a son and my husband.
Awesome. What's his name?
My son is Montgomery, Luis.
And what's your husband's name?
Is Luis Enrique.
Okay. I got the CSK sound for one and an M for the other one. That's why I'm asking. I'm talking to you, and let me tell you, they come in and they immediately saturated your energy field and kind of like me. While I'm talking to you about how you're going to be creating more money. And have you ever done anything on the stage? And I'll wrap up. But have you ever done anything on the stage before?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay, you're going to revisit that in a different way than you've ever done before. And would you rather perform on stage in front of thousands of people or speak on stage in front of thousands of people?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I have to pick, or can I do both?
Well, I think you might have performed more in the past. That was more comfortable to you. But sister, girlfriend of all that
yes,
is,
I have.
You are going to be speaking.
Performed.
Yep, you're going to be.
Okay.
You're going to be speaking in front of a lot of people. You're going to work. Like you might go out and speak for 2 hours. You could make more money in that 2 hours than you could make in a whole month sometimes doing the other stuff that you're doing. So you've got big stuff coming to you, big changes. And I'm supposed to tell you there's a little old woman in the back of my mind that tells me that you're supposed to be finishing. Is it a book, and is it a children's book, or is it something really elementary like that, meaning elementary for younger audiences?
Oh my gosh, you just gave me chills. Yeah, it's a children's book.
Okay. You need to finish it.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
This is like my best friend, so I'll get on
Are
her.
you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no wonder. Oh. Well, that woman had a little bit of a mustache, child.
Don't be looking at me.
Yeah. She's passed away, and she watches over your son especially, and there could be another child in the mix. I'm just saying, wink, wink. That's going to be totally up to you, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Bye, Mariel.
Bye, Marielle.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was fun.
That is fun.
That was really
Did
fun.
we get our turn?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So so this is exciting. I hope you all don't mind listening to other people get readings, but we're going to have a little reading for ourselves here. So
Thank you.
Go.
So here's the deal. With you guys, because I know what it's like to host, I'll answer your questions in a way where your audience gets a lot out of it.
Okay.
Is that
Great.
okay?
Okay.
So it'll be personable, but it'll also be. So what's your question, Sabrina?
What's the status of my book, or what comes to mind that would be safe to say on air about me? Just free flow it.
Free flow it.
I know.
Oh,
but
goodness gracious. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'll just trust. I'll trust you.
Okay. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, and just say your month and day of birth.
May 3rd. You can put 1960.
Okay, perfect.
Sabrina Jennifer Johnson.
Okay, sometimes you try too hard to be something you already are, meaning you're a good person, you're a kind person. Sometimes it's an old pattern that you've carried over since childhood, where you give, you uplift, you nurture, you serve, and that is who you are as a human being. Some people will read more into it, like, what do you want? They get suspicious of it, but that is your nature. Your giving and receiving ratio needs to be balanced a little bit. So you have way more going out sometimes than you feel like you have coming in. Okay. So you've got this much of the room going out, and you got this much coming back to you. Thank you. They also say that you sometimes have a tendency, not your adult self, because, girl, you've done the work. Okay. Can you just say, okay, baby Jesus?
Okay.
So you've done the work on
Amen.
yourself, but you have this. You're working on your giving and receiving ratio, and you have this thing wired in where if you don't keep moving, then you're not going to get the stuff that's supposed to be yours in life. I also think since you were a little girl, you always knew you were going to be somebody when you grew up, and I think you are that now, but you have had moments where you get close and then it sort of doesn't happen the way you thought, and you'll get close and it doesn't happen. You'll get close and it doesn't happen. It's going to happen. Part of the reason that it hasn't happened, if I may, is because your giving out is so much as a healer, a nurturer, an uplifter, a lover of humanity, and even though they get on your damn nerves, but you do love humanity. The reason it hasn't come to you just yet is because the inner child, the little girl in you, feels like how is she going to take care of all of those people that come to the book signing? How is she going to take care of all of the people out there that send her an email when you feel like death gnawing on a cracker because you already worked 18 straight hours, and you would collapse not taking care of yourself and taking care of them? Here it is. I got it. The old you, the little girl you, has old issues. She thinks that asking for what's rightfully yours is a bad thing. Asking it, and it's hard, isn't it? So you think sometimes asking is equated to when you see people take, or when people are greedy, or somebody when you were growing up. And so whoever that person was that you witnessed when you were growing up that had that behavior, you countered them so big. I did that too. My dad was a sadist, and my stepdad sometimes wasn't present whenever I was growing up. So when they would hurt my mom's feelings, I would go get the mop bucket and I'd scrub the kitchen floor. She didn't tell me to do it. I did it so she could see with her eyes and ears somebody was there supporting her.
Yeah.
Now, that is not what she saw.
Right.
It was just one more thing. But that's where my over-giving, receiving ratio was horribly out of balance. Yours isn't horribly out of balance, but you must play with, not work on. Play with understanding, which I know you do cerebrally, emotionally understand that when you ask for something, that is your birthright.
Thank you.
You want to work with being open to receive. You're not a taker.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
but when someone is kind to you, let it in. You're getting better about it, they're saying. And with the book that you're supposed to be doing, how many ideas do you have floating around up there?
A lot.
That's what I thought. You're like an idea factory. So you need to take some of them out, put them on an index card, and file them away in this is another multi-million-dollar idea file, okay? And then pick the one that speaks to you. They literally are saying, just do it.
Okay.
Just do it. But here's what she does. She'll go to do it, and then she'll get a text. Oh, let me put down my thing, and let me go uplift and save the planet. And girl, you tired. So you can just keep taking care of you, and that will essentially take care of the people around you. And there's one or two people that are vibrating out of your life, child.
Vibrating out?
Vibrating out of your life.
What does that mean? Like
That means this
leaving?
past year. Yeah, they're leaving.
Oh, good.
And so let me tell you what's going to happen. When they leave, and we all know who they is, right?
Yeah.
When they vibrate out of your life and you don't hear from them for a day, and then a week, and then a month, Don't call them.
Okay, thank you.
Don't go chasing
I
them.
learned that. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
and it's not that you care what people think about you. Yes, you do. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. No, you don't. You want to make sure that what they think of you is really who you are, not what they perceive you to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But girl, but you got some big stuff coming out. You
Good.
should have 2 book deals, actually.
2 book deals.
And you
wow.
might self-publish one and then end up getting a book deal with the other one.
Great. Thank
It's
you.
any of it around body? Any of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But almost, yeah, always, yeah. Yeah.
Good,
yeah,
good, good.
Yeah, exactly. Why the body one might be published with the,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay.
Did you just get flowers?
No.
You're
no,
going to.
I'm going to.
You're
okay.
absolutely going to.
Good,
A
good,
man
good.
says that. Coming up behind you, a man says it with a CK or L in his name, like Clarence, Charles, anything with a CK or CSL, anywhere in the name, first, last name, or nickname. He had a hat. He's doing his hat like this. Has a mustache, but I mean, it's just a mustache.
Yes.
And he could have worked. He could have been a hard laborer too. He could have worked hard, like out in the field too.
Wow.
Yeah, but you're getting flowers. And I know this
thank
is
you.
weird, and I'll shut up. Did you lose a dog? Did you lose a puppy?
Oh yeah.
That a little puppy comes running around the man and says that it's for you, not for him.
yeah. He was my first Buddha. Yeah. He died old, but yeah, he definitely has puppy power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's loud and clear. Visits you, hangs out with you a lot, just so you know. And did this one sit up here with you sometimes when you'd be sitting there watching TV or whatever?
Oh, he was always with me. Yeah.
He still does that to this day.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
And we go through a little bit of licking the feet thing.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
doesn't do that, but does sit beside of you.
Yeah. He definitely was my.
You're getting flowers.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh no! I know I'm scared. Okay, so
Free flow.
we do have the full hour,
Free
right?
flow
Okay.
it.
Yay! Good.
Oh wow! I
know,
didn't
we
even
get a
see
full
what
hour.
time it was.
I know, right? Okay, so Joanne O'Brien is my birth name. June 10th, 1965. And so my question, this is the only way I know how to answer this. All I see is the storyboard, and on the storyboard is the book "Crap, I Have a Tumor," Inspired Siren, the singer who writes for corporate work or writes for healing properties, like sings to heal. This radio show. And also, I sell anti-aging, and so all these things are on this storyboard. And so I'm trying to figure out how they all work together. And I'm an entrepreneur. I own a business, a pet sitting business, and I'm just really, it's darling, but I'm so done. But I can't be done until something else takes off. So it is definitely a financial prosperity, because I know that creates freedom, and I need freedom.
You need freedom.
Yeah.
You would like freedom.
Okay, yeah, I'd like freedom. I love freedom. I enjoy it.
I know
I
you
totally
do.
enjoy it.
You have the signature of somebody already known.
Ooh.
You're on the way to being already known. Yours is sort of, you guys do this thing with each other. It's very funny. So you will support each other like unbelievably.
We are huge
We do.
supports for
We
one
do.
another.
You can
really
This
do.
has been a wonderful marriage
Yes,
right
yes.
here.
They just showed
Absolutely.
a figure 8 when you said that,
Yes.
going through your solar plexus.
Yes.
This is going to be different, what I'm going to say. And I've never heard this in 25 years.
It's Joanne O'Brien.
Girl, what have you done to me? So this is good. So you have, and so here's what they showed me: feeling, core, essence. So you can work so fast that sometimes you forget to feel what you need to feel while you're working fast.
Wow.
So you do move quickly.
Yeah.
Both of you do in your own way. You both move quickly, but differently from each other.
Yes.
And so you're not numb. You're not a numb person. You're a warm
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
And you're warmer almost to other people sometimes than you are yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So
Sorry.
So take all of these old labels. They're not old to you, I know that. So take the old label of entrepreneur, and take the old label of the siren. What's it called?
Inspired Siren.
Brilliant title. And take the old title of I sell these wonderful products, and take the old title of the book even. because you're running so hard and so fast to make these things happen that you don't have time to feel each of them. Thank you. They're also showing me someone spinning 8 plates. And so when you spin 8 plates at a time, your attention isn't even on one subject. Each plate is a subject. So they're saying, just for fun, you're highly visual.
Very.
I would put these things down on pretty index cards, the big ones, just the title, and then make a list, no more than 5 things. What does the pet sitting business bring you? It brings you financial freedom.
Okay.
It brings you a little more financial freedom, say, than the book is right now.
Well, yeah, the book is just
Okay.
Yeah.
So it gives you a little bit of money. You're meeting new people. And so just write down 5 things that feel good to you that it's bringing to the table. And then 5 things with the sirens. Then 5 things with the cosmetics. 5 things with the upcoming book. 5 things. And what you're going to do is you're going to put them all together. You're going to pin them on a board, and you're just going to look at them. And then you're going to just throw them in the floor. And then you're going to put a giant heart on that board that says the core essence feeling in your heart, and you can only pick one core essence frequency that comes from each of those. So you would go to the dog setting thing, it would be here. You'd go to the sirens, it would be here, here, and here, so that you above as below.
Okay.
And to the left and the right, you have bookended yourself into this old paradigm of I need to keep moving, and I am constantly telling God, I'm constantly telling the universe, see, look, da da da, dun da da, dun da 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 da.
This is
And your giving
You're on,
receiving
yeah.
ratio is coming into balance too a little bit more. This now it's very funny what they just said. You should have heard your solar plexus, Eddie. She was like, "Really, WTF?"
sorry.
And it's okay. I don't take that personally. Meaning, here's what it really meant. It means, wait a minute, I've worked my ass off. I don't know what else to do. And I have all this stuff that I've been building, and you have been building them. The foundation under them isn't as strong as you want them to be right now. And so you're not scrapping anything. You're just revisiting the way you see it, the way you feel it.
Okay.
Right now, even though there's income coming from the pet setting business, you're giving out this much of your time, energy, and effort, and you're only getting this much money back. That's an imbalanced giving-receiving
Huge.
ratio.
It's massive.
And so the feeling I get, answer this question, the predominant feeling I get at the end of the day with my pet setting business is
Exhaustion.
I knew that was going to be it. And that's what you don't want. You're being bookended between an old feeling of exhaustion. For the amount of work and energy and time and effort you put into it, you thought there would be more money that came out of it and a little more ease in other areas of the life.
Right.
So you're not starting from scratch. You were repackaging it with a feeling frequency. We all know feelings create 99% of our realities, and our hard work and busting our asses only creates 1%. So you want to go back to the feeling. So I'm going to ask you a couple of really private questions if I can, but they're generic. What makes you feel the most joy?
Standing on stage and singing.
Beautiful. What makes you feel the least joy?
Shoveling cat poop.
What is it about your daily business that feels the most stressful?
Driving.
What is it about your daily business that you love the most?
Cats.
Okay, so here's what I'm hearing. You need to be the leader in a community. You need to connect with people or pets. Heart to heart, soul to soul. You're a connect worker. You're not a networker. You are a networker, but not for yourself.
Right.
It's organic. Me too. I don't toot my own horn. You're a connector. You connect other people. But I think of you as a heart connect worker. Both of you are. So you need to put on your paper the heart for the dog walking business and the animal thing is connecting with those little souls that are in those little animals that love me, that see me, that hear me, that get me. And vice versa. And the core essence with your soul business, your siren business, and you're performing, you're like, oh, you're not that girl that just needs to be on stage and go, look at me. You want to be up there raising the frequency on the planet so that they come out of their funky stuff that day. I almost said funky ass. They come out of their funky stuff that day, and you raise them up so they forget about their problems. That for you is an even exchange of giving, receiving ratio energy.
And I have to cut us off only because we don't have a whole lot of time. We really don't. We only have 2 more minutes. Okay, we don't. So one thing that's really important, and we can talk after the show, but this is an exercise that everybody can do. Anyone who's listening, if you haven't snoozed yet over my stuff, this is something that everybody could do if they need to reconnect with themselves.
Yes. One other thing is, I love how you put that she raises the frequency. The amazing song when you hear at the beginning and end is what Joanne has written and sang, and she raises that frequency. And before we quit, please announce how people can meet you.
This is really we want you. Where can people meet you? Your website. The next thing you have upcoming.
Awesome. They could go to eddieconnor.com, and the big joke on Tony's show is it's Eddie and then Connor, Conner, because I'm an not an or. And then I'm doing a really fun magnetizing money workshop Saturday the 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. But it's all on the website.
It's on the website.
And the office contact information is on the website, and there's lots of fun videos and stuff because that's how we roll here.
And
at
when
UBN.
is your show airing here at UBN Network?
It's Tony's show, and I get to come play in his sandbox from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Friday.
Okay.
And if they go on your website, can they contact you for a reading?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well,
so
this
much.
is yay! We're
Thank
so
you.
excited. I think we don't really have any more time left, but we're don't forget Miriam Firm next week. Our guest is a big, huge surprise to all of us as of right now, but we do know that we're giving away Miriam Firm. All right, so we've got that, and quickly, gratitude. I want to say I'm grateful for Sabrina giving me an incredible birthday week. It's been nonstop gifts. So I'm really thrilled about that. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for this very moment. Just Joanne and Eddie and John and Amy, and this is just a room full of just high frequency vibration that just is feeding me to no end, so that I don't need to eat all those chocolate almonds.
Well, I'll eat the chocolate almonds. Eddie, do you have anything?
Yeah, I love Gratitude Tuesdays, and I love that your show's on Gratitude Tuesdays. And for me, it's like literally being here in the present moment, seeing friends I ain't seen in a long time, and hanging out with John and building community in a sort of non-traditional way, just by doing what we're all put on the earth to do. We always end up connecting with each other, so I'm grateful for that inner light.
Well, we probably could do a whole other hour with you because there's a lot of questions that I still have to ask that are really, really, really valuable questions for people to hear. So we might talk to you about coming back and being a guest again.
I would be honored.
We would love that. Anything else, Sabrina? Do you have anything you want to say?
Thank you. I just am like absolutely just filled, and thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yay! Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
I am amazing. I am amazing.